Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena. Right now I'm taking a hands-on look at the HTC One Mini 2. In typical fashion, the HTC One Mini 2 looks almost identical to its sibling in the flagship HTC One M8. You could see its difference in size, just a little bit more form-fitting the hands, so your thumb's able to encompass the display. So the design is identical. It has the same unibody brushed aluminum construction, so it has a very premium quality to it, sturdy construction. But we do notice just a few differences with its design. It's kind of hard to notice it initially, but the difference here is this polycarbonate siding that wraps around the entire front side of the handset, similar to the style that we saw with the HTC One M7 last year. It's not as profound with the brushed aluminum casing that we have, but if you have the glacier silver version of the handset, it looks all kind of identical to the M7. You can see here with the M8, the aluminum just wraps all the way to the sides, whereas with the HTC One Mini 2, it's just separated by this polycarbonate plastic siding. Beyond that, the other key differences with the HTC One Mini 2 are just mostly cosmetic. For example, the power button has shifted from being the top right corner, now it's found here in top left. The 3.5mm headset jack has been also positioned to the top, whereas before it was on the bottom. Only the bottom here is just the micro USB port. It still features the same front-firing dual HTC boom sound speaker, so you have that as a micro SD card slot, so you can increase its storage capacity, but it lacks the IR blaster. However, the biggest change here is the departure from HTC using its ultra-pixel camera. Instead, they've outfitted this device with a beefy 13-megapixel autofocus camera with an LED flash. No secondary camera, of course. Now, it's kind of interesting what kind of results we're going to get, because that was one of the complaints about the HTC One M8's ultra-pixel camera. It just lacked detail. As for the screen itself, it's been shrunken down to a 4.5-inch 720p Super LCD 3 display. So the resolution's been chopped down, but of course, with the smaller size, it's not that much of a problem just because it's still more than usable for things like surfing the web. And for the most part, it has pretty much the same elements that we could see here with this initial hands-on. Above the display, you have also the same wide-angle 5-megapixel front-facing camera. Essentially, with the HTC One Mini 2, the thing about it is just that it's in a more form-fitting package, so it's easier to hold in our hands, comfortable still, and of course our thumb is able to encompass the entire layout, so there's no stretching or fatigue caused by it. It's powered by a quad-core 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor with 1 GB of RAM, and just quickly looking at it, it seems mostly responsive here, something you kind of expect with a processor of that caliber. Now, HTC mentions that it lacks the motion launch gestures that we saw from before, just because they decided to go with this particular chipset. It's not really optimized for that. But you get the Sense 6.0 user interface. You have pretty much the same experience we saw before, so that includes things like the HTC Blink feed for all your social networking stuff. Of course, the handset's going to appeal most to those individuals who like the HTC One M8 except for its size. Of course, the handset's more form-fitting nature really lends to give it a little bit more appeal in that regard. At the same time, it still has that top-notch premium construction we'd expect to find with HTC. So the handset will be launching overseas first. They haven't really mentioned which US carriers will be getting it, but from what we heard, it's going to be at an aggressive price point. You're looking roughly at around $100 with a 2-year contract, which is half the cost of the HTC One M8 right now. And of course, you'll also see a reduction in price if you're thinking about picking it up outright. So if you guys want to learn more about the HTC One Mini 2, you could check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.